If you've heard it, so have we. Oh, that's all right. That's okay.
I heard it. I felt it coming, and I was like, okay.
If you've heard it,
yummy.
So have we.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
If you've heard it, so have we.
If you like it.
If you hate it.
Damn it. I'll get it right. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
If you've heard it, so have we.
If you hate it, we probably do too.
If you like it, we'll see.
But either way,
we've heard it all. Ah! I didn't know what you were doing at first.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's
for
okay,
those
that's
listening, okay. Naveen held up her hands for a high five.
It didn't happen.
I didn't know what was going on.
That's okay. Sometimes you put your hands up, you don't know if it's aggressive or community.
You're right. This time it was familiar.
Yeah, it was.
It was familiar.
That's true. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing good. A girl who is gonna be okay.
Me too. Honestly,
like
it's been
nothing,
a good week.
Yeah, nothing bad happened. Nothing good has happened. It's just
let's knock
it's
on
just
wood.
a fine week. Knock on wood.
Stop it. None of that.
I know. I know.
I don't want to talk about that album.
We're not going to talk about it, guys.
We're not going to talk about The Life of a Showgirl.
But if you if you want to read about it.
I did write an essay on it. It is on our new Substack. Where you will be getting some extra content from us every now and then. Because we tried recording an episode, but we were like, no.
Yeah, it just we weren't saying anything new. Revolutionary.
Yeah, so.
We were just lamenting.
Yeah, you can read about it on Substack. Definitely go check that out. So yeah. But anyways, girl, what the hell have you heard?
What have I heard? Actually, I was doing research before now because I actually haven't heard a lot of entertainment news, and I just happened to come across this one on Variety, which kind of ties into our last conversation.
Yeah.
We were talking about him. Mm-hmm. So, basically, Cliff Notes version is One Battle After Another, which is the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
That's coming out.
I'm gonna see it this weekend.
Is projected to lose $100 million theatrically.
Okay. Really? Because I feel like so many people I know have seen it, and it's getting a lot of critical acclaim.
So yes. Yeah. You are correct. But I was reading this article, and I'll link it in the show notes below. So I think what they're projecting is that it's going to project to $140 million. Mm-hmm. But they said one battle requires roughly $300 million to break even. And that's because Warner Brothers spent more than $130 million on production and $70 million on promotional efforts. And ticket sales are typically split 50-50 between studios and theater operators. Plus, Leonardo DiCaprio typically gets first dollar gross in his movies, meaning he gets a percentage of box office revenues before the studio even recoups any cost. And
on one hand, good for him.
Yeah, I know.
Good for him.
Yeah, for sure.
But wow.
But that's crazy. And it was I was thinking about the $70 million budget, and I don't think that's all necessarily the marketing that's come out now.
Yeah.
I think that's also including what they're going to push for Oscar and award season.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And another thing that the article points out is just the decreased time that they're in theaters and how a lot of the public is just waiting for it to come on streaming because it'll come on streaming in 2 weeks instead of going out and going to a movie theater, which is crazy expensive, which is another point that I don't think they bring up, but you can't ignore how expensive movies are. So it's not surprising.
I know.
Which it is interesting though, because this is probably the most marketing I've seen
for a movie,
for a Oscar contender movie in a long time.
Well, that's the thing, and from what I've heard, I don't want to say it's a movie that feels like a movie, but it feels back to a blockbuster.
Yeah.
We have movie stars in it like Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Tiana Taylor. There are Regina Hall.
Yes.
Regina Hall.
Yes.
Sometimes I get the Reginas mixed up because King and Hall both have 4 letters.
They're very close.
But Regina Hall, also queen. So I'm really excited to see it. I am disappointed that it's not doing well, but when you explain it like that, it's crazy. And I know we've talked a lot about where's the marketing for movies, but apparently they've put $70 million into this. And I do find it weird that they would save probably a lot of it seems, for the Oscar campaign. Yeah. Because I never understand, is the promotional budget about promoting it out or for schmoozing the voters later on? You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's curious because when you said it wasn't going to make money, I'm glad you said the part about Leonardo DiCaprio getting first dollar.
Yeah.
Because I always think that a lot of these movies are just not going to make money because they're getting these big stars.
Well, I was thinking the same thing too, and I think that is like a component of why just like statistically they don't do as well as they did in the past because like they're these like box office stars like Leo, The Rock, like they're all like demanding these huge crazy amount of salaries to do these movies, which eats into the budget a whole bunch. And they're banking on them bringing in viewers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, the article also talks about how much of a wash, I say wash, it just wasn't as like profitable as they needed to be of the movie with The Rock where
Smashing Machines.
Yeah, Smashing Machines. Yeah. And they also talked about Spider thing with J-Lo.
Oh, Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Kiss of the Spider Woman. I think it brought in like $850,000.
I was like 850 million.
No, I was like 850,000. I was like, hey, that's whack. But also, like, who was asking for it? I haven't seen any marketing for it, except I think you probably told me about it, and that's it.
There were a couple trailers, but Kiss of the Spider Woman, I hope I'm getting the middle words correctly. It is a known musical, originated with Chita Rivera in the role, but it doesn't have the same cachet as it does with the audience that would be going to the theater. Like, it's a very niche Broadway audience that would be going to see that kind of movie. That's a movie I would have said go to streaming, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think that should have been a theatrical release. I also think Jennifer Lopez, for many years, has not had the same pull as she did maybe in the early 2000s with kind of the rom-com she was doing doing in the movies and her Selena biopic. She's kind of faltered in recent years based on her stardom, even though there's something about her I find endearing. It
truly is because she's always trying. Even if she does it poorly,
work hard.
She works hard.
Yeah.
And like gives it her all. Because like, did we watch
her film
together?
We did. Yeah, we did.
Because that shit was crazy.
Yeah, that was insane.
She was doing entirely too much, but I respect the effort.
Right?
That she put in.
Yeah.
To that.
And you know what? She looks great.
She does look great.
She looks amazing.
I would too if I was that rich, I think, though.
Yeah. Anyways,
that's all I've heard. What have you heard?
I mean, I'm not happy to have heard this. I really am not.
Okay.
But I feel like the big thing of the week is that we're losing our stars. Miss Diane Keaton has passed away. Which felt like, I don't know why that hit. I mean, I know why that hit me so hard. I love her. But I always saw her as such a joyous, like, youthful spirit that I was like, there's something immortal about you. And 79 feels way too young for her.
It does. And it was truly, like, out of nowhere.
Right?
Like, I was literally just, like, in there and I got a news alert.
I know.
Like, never would have in a million years.
I opened up Instagram, and the thing is, when anyone dies, whenever I open up Instagram, it's the first thing I see.
I know.
It's always variety, too.
Yeah.
I saw that, and I literally said, this has to be a prank. And then I looked it up, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Diane Keaton role?
Girl, okay. I would have to look up, because I don't remember people's names off the top of my head.
I can tell you mine while you look this up.
Yeah. I just need to look and see what she's done.
I have 3 because I love her so dearly.
For context, everyone, we're recording this on Naveen's camera.
It just shut down.
She just shut off.
I was trying to look at the text and it says movie is stopped recording automatically. Why? I pressed record for a reason.
We're not tech savants here. We've got MFAs.
I'm gonna have to get an iPhone tripod because this thing will never cut out on me.
She's right.
We'll use the damn phone.
Tim Apple's not gonna let us down. I love calling anything Tim Apple.
But back to Diane.
Yeah.
I have a tie for 3. And I will talk a little bit about the last one, because the last one I feel some type of way about. So first one, Family Stone. I know everyone is like, how are we going to watch this now? Because The Family Stone, have you seen it?
No.
It is a wonderful holiday film with Sarah Jessica Parker, Dermot Mulroney, Rachel McAdams, Claire Danes, the guy that plays everyone's dad, but I can't remember his name, and Diane Keaton.
Okay.
It's like a really like messy family drama that's really satisfying. And Sarah Jessica Parker plays this like uptight girlfriend of Dermot Mulroney. He brings her home, and like she doesn't fit in with the family, and it's really good. It's such a good film. We should watch it for the holidays.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to.
The next one is Something's Gotta Give.
Yeah.
Which I know you don't love rom-coms.
Yeah.
But this one is nice because the thing about Nancy Meyers is that she really created a space for like middle-aged to older-age people to like be sexual and like find love on screen. And she did that with It's Complicated, which starred Meryl Streep and Alec Baldwin. Hot.
Yeah.
And then Something's Gotta Give is Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really good. Jack Nicholson plays this dude who like only dates 20-year-old Leonardo DiCaprio. Ooh. And Diane Keaton is like, you're a pig, but they kind of have this thing going on. And it's so fun. She is so charismatic on screen. It's so wonderful to watch. And my last film, probably what she is most known for, is Annie Hall. I love that film. I watched it for the first time like last year. Yeah. Because growing up, my parents were like, you cannot watch Woody Allen. Yeah. This was before kind of everyone finally got on board with like maybe he's a weirdo, but
maybe he's a bad guy.
Yeah, and this was before like allegations, whatever. My parents were like, we don't like that he married his stepdaughter. So we don't trust him. And I said, okay.
Yeah, you're right.
And then when everything happened, I was like, I'm glad I never did this. But yeah, I was worrying because as someone who loves film, I don't think Woody Allen is someone to ignore, and I don't think the art of bad people is something to ignore. Like, it helps just contextualize what you're seeing. The same way. So I rented it from the library so that he makes no money, and I loved it so much. Okay. It's a rom-com that really defies all the standards of it. It's kind of unpredictable and doesn't follow any of the normal structure, which speaks, it's a testament to his writing and how good it is. But he does really insert himself in all of his movies because he is the main character in that too. But Diane is amazing in it, and I love her, so big loss.
I know. Actually, unfortunately, I was looking through her. It's not discography. That's
filmography.
Her filmography. I don't know if I've seen a single one.
Have you seen The Godfather?
No, I've never seen The Godfather. I know. First of all, what you guys have to know is I'm a bad movie person.
Okay, you're not.
Kind of.
But you focus on industry.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody's a bad movie person.
Yeah. I'm just not good at the canon. Okay. But I have seen Book Club, and I remember really liking that movie. I thought it was so fun. I remember it came out when I was an undergrad.
Diane movie?
Yeah.
Come
on. That
one
was very fun. But I think I just knew her culturally.
That's the one that Julia Roberts has that fuck-ass bob, right?
I don't know.
The bob with the bangs?
There's like 4 of them in there. I don't know any of their names off the top of my head. Okay. You know I'm the worst with names.
I know. I think it was Jason Sudeikis is in that too, right? Look it up. You should watch The Godfather.
Yeah, no, I know I'd like it. Actually, I own it. I have it right over here.
What?
It's on DVD, though.
We're going to watch it.
I don't have a DVD player.
I have a DVD player.
Okay.
I'm bringing it over.
Okay, great.
Or we could also watch it on streaming.
Okay, so Book Club has Diane Keaton, Jane Fonda, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen.
Yes, okay.
They read 50 Shades of Grey. That's what it is.
Okay, I'm thinking of Mother's Day, which is one of those ensemble things.
Yeah,
Julia Roberts
it's very
is
fun.
In there. Okay,
I really liked it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Okay, it looked fun. Okay, I love Jane Fonda. God.
I know. I was actually thinking about her the other day, and just what a fucking legacy.
Right?
Of that, like, the family. What a fucking legacy.
And also a woman who has truly been on the front lines of things. Yeah. And just has a crazy career.
Yeah. And, like, front lines, especially because of her dad. Like, that shit was ingrained in her.
Yeah. And just, like, also baddie.
Yeah, I know.
Like, hottest woman I've ever seen.
At all times.
And did you see that actually, another thing I've heard is that she's reviving a committee on free speech.
That's why I was thinking about that.
And it existed during, like, McCarthyism.
Yes, well, because, so I'm reading,
Red
Scare right now, and I've been bringing it up multiple times in conversation with this, and it's kind of talking about, I'm getting to the point where, like, it's talking about, like, the Blacklist, and I'm pretty sure they talk about her dad and, like, the work that he did there, and I'm getting into that part, but I'm like, that's crazy that, like, Jane Fonda's father was doing this in, like, 50s, 60s.
And now she's doing it
and
again.
now you're having to do it again.
Yeah. No, history is so cyclical, which is why it really saddens me that literacy rates are going down, because we have the template to get out of this, but nobody is reading it. Mm-hmm. We have the template to move past this, like, fascist state and this time of unrest, but nobody knows because no one's read it.
Yeah.
And also
exactly. Like, I would recommend you guys, all 3 of you, to read Red Scare. I find it very interesting.
Tell the listeners.
Oh.
Maybe next time notes.
Hey, girl.
Notes.
Hey, I didn't know we were going to talk about the Red Scare.
I know. I know the first name's Clay.
By Clay Risen.
Clay Risen,
the Red Scare.
What a name.
That's honestly a cunty name.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying reading this, and it's very interesting how literally we've gone through all of this before. Like, none of the blueprints of this administration are new. We're just doing the exact same fucking thing.
Wow.
I'm curious to keep going to see how we got out of it. Because right now, everyone's just in the throes of, like, the Red Scare, commies are bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Remember when, like, communism was the worst thing?
It still is. But now it's socialism. They just conflate the two.
Jeez. Anyways. Oh, gosh. Well, there is no good transition into what we're talking about today. But in our last episode, that never aired, we went on to a tangent talking about Glee.
Yes.
And how good of a show it is. And then we were like, oh, we should talk about Glee. And then afterward, we were like, we should talk about Ryan Murphy.
Yeah.
Especially with the contemporary tie of his new series, Monster, the Ed Gein story. Is that what it's called?
Yes. I think so. Ed Gein? We should have looked this up before.
I don't know. He's a killer. Should we respect him?
No.
No.
Anyways.
Yeah. But I have always been really interested in Ryan Murphy as a showrunner and as an auteur. And just as an artist. And the kind of good he has brought to the world, but also the bad. And I just thought we could do a little deep dive and talk about that.
Yeah, I'm very excited because what an interesting character and what an interesting line of work. Also very curious to see how this plays out because Naveen over here did her thesis surrounding Ryan Murphy's work, and I just realized I've never read it.
I will never let you read it because it was not good. And I knew that. I knew that every time I turned in a chapter. I knew when I turned it in fully. My professors knew. When they said submit it to the library, I said no. I am not doing it. I did this so I could get my master's, and now I'm done. Do not talk to me about this again.
But you know what? The research is there.
Yeah, and you know what? I pulled some great quotes.
I'm very excited.
And I will read some of them.
Yay.
That's the thing. I'm a quote girl.
Yeah.
I'm not a long form. Well, I'm sort of a long form girl, as long as it's not 120 pages.
Yeah.
Things get lost in the sauce.
They do.
Yeah. But we could do a history of Ryan Murphy, but you could also look up his Wikipedia. So I just kind of want to dive in on some of the series that he's done.
Yeah.
Starting with Nip Tuck.
Yes.
Nip Tuck was kind of the first series that he had that kind of cemented him as a creator that was going to create quality TV series. And when we're talking about quality, yes, there's this inherent definition to it. But particularly when we're talking about the televisual medium, television, there is this distinction between what is quality television and what is lowbrow television. And this difference was created with the separation of premium cable, and then broadcast networks. With your premium cable networks like a Showtime, HBO, Starz, these were all cable networks premium cable networks that tried to emulate the aesthetics of movies and cinema, because for the longest time, television was the dumb thing to watch. It was the boob tube. It was feminized because it wasn't as prestigious as film. So then you get shows like The Sopranos, Sex and the City. Showtime had one at the beginning. I don't know, but Boardwalk City. Anything on Starz, all these shows that people would say like, oh, this feels like a movie. Yeah. Which feels like a diss to TV because it
was meant to be. Yeah.
But it's still TV. It's serialized drama.
Yeah.
But anyways, I digress. So, Ryan Murphy debuts this series. It's not his first series, but he debuts Nip/Tuck on FX, I want to say. And this is a very successful series, kind of a dark comedy about these plastic surgeons. Yeah. And this kind of starts Ryan Murphy's brand of pushing the envelope, which is kind of what he's known for. Yeah. And while that can be a good thing, it can also turn into a bad thing. Yeah. And Nip Tuck, not my forte. So I'm just going to skip to Glee.
Yeah.
And so the thing with Ryan Murphy, and I'm specifically talking about his stylistic choices. I don't know him as a person. I'm never going to claim to know anyone as a person. I'm not going to speak about that. But much of his style is rooted in excessive representations of identity that often simplify and flatten the nuance of specifically representing racialized identities.
Yeah.
Which was kind of what I was looking at in my thesis of the ways that he is progressing the narrative about like marginalized identity. But when it comes specifically to racial marginalization, he's still sticking to these stereotypes and flattening these people. And so his work on Fox and FX showcases his knack for like boundary pushing content that comes at the cost of utilizing Black and queer identity to present a sense of edge, similar to Fox's approach to urban programming in the 90s. Yeah. And what I mean by that is that in the 90s, there was this slate of shows that really foregrounded Black characters, kind of like In Living Color. I don't think The Cosby Show was on Fox, but that was kind of the similar time. That was kind of catering to a more liberal audience. But as we go into the early 2000s, a lot of those shows got cut for a more like widespread, moderate white audience. But also they called it urban programming because it was supposed to be edgy. Simply by putting Black bodies on a screen, that's what counted as edgy.
Yep.
So when we're talking about a show like Glee, Glee is fraught because watching it back now with the standards we have for consent and political correctness and just generally not harming communities, it would not be made today. No. But I'm so glad it was made when it did because it's hilarious.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so funny. And I have to give him his flowers because they were doing full musicals every episode. Yeah. Multiple numbers.
Times. Like, they were working.
I know. And so, if we think about a show like Glee, like, if we're thinking about queer characters on TV, like, there was not, like, that many. And,
no. Yeah. No, it was crazy, because I remember my routine, because I think it came on Thursdays, and I would always come home from a basketball game.
Yeah.
And I would come home, like, from cheering, go to the basement, and then watch Glee, and then watch New Girl right after it.
Yes.
But, like, it was, like, it did become, like, very ritualized. It was, like, the first time that I ever saw, like, queer characters on there. Like, especially, like, I remember the whole storyline with Santana and Brittany getting together. What a crazy, like, exploration of sexuality to put on TV.
For context, Glee debuted in 2009.
Which is crazy to say.
Gay marriage did not get legalized until 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
It's ahead of its game, because I remember that was the first time I'd ever seen, like, two men kiss on screen.
Yeah.
Which was Blaine and Kurt.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, what is this? I mean, I knew about gay people.
Yeah, of course.
But I'd never seen them as people.
Yeah.
You know, and that really humanized the queer experience. And kind of pre-Glee, the biggest show that I knew that had queer representation was Will and Grace.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, similar to Fox, it was on a broadcast network. There's only so much you can do. And I feel like Glee really pushed the envelope on what it was doing.
Yeah.
And it touched every single letter of the community.
For good or bad.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, sometimes I was like, hey, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But sometimes I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
But the real thing I wanted to talk about, so Ryan Murphy obviously has, like, been an auteur, a queer auteur, and his style is always about, let's be excessive. Let's push this to the farthest that we can go.
Yeah.
Let's really delve into, like, cult narratives and cult imagery that caters to a queer audience.
Yeah.
Because the key to his success, and I wrote about this in my thesis, was that he aligns himself with the language of cult.
Yeah.
So that he can seem like he is in the in-group of his audience rather than the in-group of the corporation. Mm-hmm. So he positions himself as an ally to oppose these wider, like, socio-cultural forces when he, by being a part of this industry, is also being complicit in it.
Right.
But the way he veils that is really, really interesting. So, Ryan Murphy, I wrote, built a career off of marketing and stylizing transgression on screen. His spotlight on otherness, particularly via queer aesthetics and characters, positions him in opposition to a white heteronormative industry, mirroring the oppositional stance of cult fans, even though he is directly feeding the beast.
Yeah, right.
So, I'm going to stop there. Because I need to stop talking. And I'm curious your take on his style, because we talked right before this about sometimes the excess that he shows goes a little too far.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think his sense of excess has, like, progressed throughout the years, because obviously, like, Glee is excessive and just, like, very queer, but, like...
It's kind of zany, though.
Yeah.
It's
like,
fun.
it all... There's a I was gonna say jovialness. That's a stupid word.
It's a bit jovial.
Like, it's a bit jovial, isn't it? But especially after that and going to, like, American Horror Story and what, like, it does have a cult feeling towards American Horror Story of, like, following every season, following the same, like, actors and stuff and working with that. And I was talking to you about this before we started recording, but I kind of fell off the Ryan Murphy train because I like his work. I realized I have hardly ever finished a series that he's done because I think he loses his way halfway through and just kind of train wrecks his way through the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I haven't seen an American Horror Story since halfway through Roanoke when I stopped. And so I was like, I was kind of curious to see what he's doing now. And so I tried to watch Grotesquerie, I think is what it's called, which is also on FX. And I got probably 20, 30 minutes in. And, I mean, within the first 20 minutes, so one of my favorite things to do is, like, watching stuff without really knowing what it's about. So I still don't know, like, the full story. But Niecy Nash is, like, a detective, which is my favorite sentence to say. I love Niecy Nash.
I love
Get her
Niecy
in anything
Nash.
and I'll watch it, except for maybe Grotesquerie.
Okay.
But they go to this crime scene, and it's just, like, really vile. And they show it against, like, this whole family, including the 2 children. And it just felt a little grotesque.
Sure,
you know, I think that's his point. But I was watching and it was kind of like, I don't see the need for this amount of excess and violence in this moment. And I was thinking of that, like, in terms of, like, cultural, political, where, like, we're already seeing so much, like, death and destruction, that kind of, like, pushed me over the edge. I was like, actually, I don't need to consume this. And I do think that, like, that's partially why American Horror Story works. And I was gonna tease this out a little bit more, but, like, how American Horror Story works under an Obama presidency, and how it changes, like, post-Trump. Which, like, if I wanted to get into this, I would have had to do research, so I'm just gonna tease that and I'm gonna let it go. Maybe I'll do a Substack essay on that.
Yeah, I would
That's
actually
a good one.
love to read that.
But no, so, like, Ryan Murphy's just such an interesting case because I feel like he's never been super consistent in his style or, like, what he wants to purport. Yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying, because it's been interesting, because I do find that I have been watching horror, but I like the more eerie sort of horror that's a little bit like a mystery and not so torture porny. Because, like, I'm already seeing images of, like, children being bombed in Gaza. I don't want to see children being mutilated for fun. That's not fun for me. And it's like, how do you balance, like, constructed horror versus, like, real horror? So yeah, please write that, because I would read that.
Which, unfortunately, I think that means I have to watch more Grotesquerie, but I will.
Please.
I will.
For me.
I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But it's really interesting that you say that, because I feel like that's so many of his series where I feel that now that he has achieved this success, like, he's kind of gone off the deep end with it. Because, so after having this deal with, like, Fox FX, Disney buys out Fox. And I think this was about the time that he was kind of looking for a new home to produce his series, which was Netflix. And at the time, he was offered, I think, $300 million for a showrunner deal. For context, that at the time was the biggest showrunner deal in history, only to be beat 1 to 2 years later by Shonda Rhimes. Which I'm for. For $400 million. And before we get into that, I do want to go back to the ways that he, we're talking about this excessive style that goes back to styles of camp within the queer community. And so another thing that he did and has done throughout his career that I think has kept him on the success plane is the fact that he bakes the fan experience into the production.
Yeah.
Like when you think about Glee, the term Gleek was created by him and Fox.
Yeah.
It wasn't like some grassroots campaign to develop this fandom.
Yeah.
Like Gleek was promoted during the promotional rollout of the show's first season and it engaged with fans for months before the season actually started to air. Like before Glee was ever on, they were already like propagating this. So Fox's naming of its fans showcases how a dominant power will embed itself within fan communities. They even christen them with a name that connotes their position as an underdog and the transgressors by positioning them as geeks.
Yeah.
And so it feels sinister, but it's also really smart.
Yeah.
To like curate your own fandom and curate that sort of dedication and devotion.
Yeah, and it's also curious that it worked. Because especially now there's so much like forced trying to like make a trend happen like on the behalf of the creators. And 9 times out of 10 it does not work and we think it's corny. But I think this was already corny in and of itself, so like it kind of goes in with the theme of Glee.
Yeah, I also think we were much more receptive to corny back then.
Yeah, I think so too.
We weren't as jaded.
No.
And we also weren't getting media thrown at us from every
that's
which
very
way.
true.
So, yeah. But anyways, talking about the excess, I also wrote, quote, Murphy... Why am I quoting myself? Quote, Murphy's tendency for excess gets in the way of creating any substance for the show.
Say that again, sorry.
Murphy's tendency for excess gets in the way of creating any sort of substance for his shows.
Yeah.
Which gets into the Netflix era.
Yeah.
Because are the Monster series exclusive to Netflix?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. So before he moves on to Netflix, he has some like successes with his American Crime Story with O.J. Simpson and then Gianni Versace, which I've seen bits of both and they were both exceptional.
I've seen O.J. Simpson through, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I will say.
The writing is tight, he keeps it short, and that's where like I felt like miniseries was really
he does very well if he's condensed.
Yeah, and like, limited.
Yes.
There is also a series that he helps produce, and I specifically say produce because the authorship of the show is very important, but he does pose on effects. This is a show that has some of the best representation I've seen of Black and brown, queer, and trans people, specifically focusing on the ballroom scene in the 80s into the 90s, and specifically the sort of tremors that the AIDS epidemic had on these communities. Like, it's a predominantly trans cast, it's a predominantly Black and brown cast. Like, it was amazing. It's also so good. It kind of tapers off in the later seasons. But the key to the show is that the main, like, people writing it, directing it, were Black and brown people. Stephen Canals, I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, and Janet Mock.
Yeah.
But it was a Ryan Murphy production. So it depends on how it's being perceived or how it's being rolled out, whether or not he is kind of the forefront of the promotion versus, like, foregrounding the actual, like, creatives on the show. And
I'm glad that you kind of lined that out because I thought that this was a Ryan Murphy.
Yeah.
Like, from the get-go, because that's how it's marketed.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talked about this, too, in regards to, like, Jordan Peele Monkey Paw, of, like, the confusion that does come around with when you push it with, like, a showrunner.
Yeah.
Or, like, this, like, big, like, director and stuff, which, like...
I get it.
I get it.
Because, like, oh, it's a Ryan Murphy production. I liked Glee. I will watch this.
Yeah.
And I think that works for your first season.
Yeah.
Second season, I wonder what the return would be if they actually foregrounded the creatives that were working on it. Because I think that representation was really important, especially when we talk about his move to Netflix. Because when Pose came to Netflix, a lot of Netflix's, like, Black-facing social campaigns only focused on Pose.
Right.
Like, that was the only Ryan Murphy series.
What was it on before?
FX.
It was on FX?
Yeah, it was on FX, then went to Netflix. And so Netflix has a brand called Strong Black Lead. I don't know if it still exists.
I was going to say, is that even still open? Because I know... Because I think you were into that, and I was into the HBO one.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably long gone.
Well, the day I presented on this thesis, they had laid off a lot of people
great.
from their D&I stuff. So
yeah.
Anyways, so that's what it only engaged with. And I also wanted to talk about Ryan's relationship to history. I feel like we're bouncing around a lot.
That's okay.
Okay, cool. But this also relates because as much as he is like, you know, a pioneer within queer media, it feels like he still has this gap in how he represents Black and brown people.
Yeah.
Because if we think of Mercedes Jones,
yeah.
Come on. I think I wrote, Mercedes' character was often used as a voice of wisdom for the Glee Club members, and her individuality and sexuality are minimized throughout, making her a loose adaptation of the mammy stereotype of classic Hollywood. Which, if you don't know, the mammy stereotype from classic Hollywood comes from the stereotype of having a Black, middle-aged, heavy-set woman who is caring for the children and is like a housemaid, and was popularized by Hattie McDaniel's character, Mammy, in Gone with the Wind. Yeah. Which was kind of a role that Black women played of like, we can never be like the center of it. We are always catering to a white person, a white family, a white woman. Kind of as the sidekick character. And that's, I don't want to say that's exactly how Mercedes' character worked, but she did not get the same sort of love stories or even solos when, my God, we knew she was probably the best singer there. Like even her love story with Sam, which I would have eaten that up. That up. But they gave us crumbs. Yeah. They just hinted that they had a thing in the summer. And now it's over.
And that's it. Now we're done.
I'm like, come on. Ugh. With Trouty Mouth?
With Trouty Mouth.
Come on. Goodness. Yeah. And so I want to talk about that in relation to The Politician in Hollywood. Yeah. Which are both series I zoomed through. Yes. Because The Politician came out. It stars Ben Platt and David Corenswet, who I remember when I first watched this, David Corenswet came out and I said, hey, he looks like Superman.
Oh, what a man.
And now he's Superman. Just 1 second. That man is so fine.
He is so beautiful. Like sometimes I have to like look away.
It's too
much. He's the spokesperson for a new, or not a spokesperson. He's in a new advertisement for a perfume and he's just like frolicking and running around. What perfume? And he looks, girl, I don't know.
Jesus.
We can just Google it.
We'll look it up later.
But like, I like stopped in my tracks. I was like, okay. All right, back to this.
The Politician. I got so distracted. So that was, I thought, a very fun series, which actually focuses like a lot on like parodying the political moment of how we're like catering to marginalized groups and like the facade of like being a political person and being like, this is what I truly believe, but I have to put on this face even though I'm a sucky person. Right. And like for a show that's attempting to parody the political moment of like 2016 to 2020 during Trump's America, The Politician remained complicit in foregrounding whiteness and silencing the role of characters of color in the series. The show does showcase queer representation among several of its leads, but, quote, there is no celebration of queerness in the series. Like, throughout the whole series, like, queerness is meant to be repressed, hidden, like, it's always operating in these dark corners, and I'm like, you've already achieved being like out, proud, whatever, but it's so hidden in that series, which I guess maybe is a commentary of like the dissonance between queerness and politics, and how you don't really see a lot of queer politicians, but it felt like so many of the characters of color like had a lot of weight in the meaning of the series. But if you looked at the promotional campaign, beige on beige on beige, like even David Corenswet is on the promotional materials. He's such a minor character in it. Really? Yeah. Spoiler alert, he like dies in the first episode.
That's so interesting. But also, that does track for Ryan Murphy. Because if there's one thing Ryan Murphy loves, hot people.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Murphy loves a hot man specifically. I mean, obviously. I mean, like
yeah. But like also, I'm with him on that.
Yeah, I get it.
Sometimes I just want something nice to look at. Okay?
Yeah.
And same thing with when he did Hollywood. So for context, Hollywood was a series that came out during the pandemic that I hyperfixated on so much. I think that was my mental illness of the pandemic, is that I watched Hollywood 5 times through. Yeah. Because you know who's the star of it?
Who was it?
David Cornsweat. And he came up in like his little 1950s drag, and I said, ugh. And Jeremy Papa was like, come on, enough. And Darren Criss.
Yeah. Ugh. From a young age, Ryan Murphy knew what he was about.
But basically, it's a revisionist tale of classic Hollywood where basically Ryan Murphy is like, what would happen if queer people and black people were able to have cultural impact and given their due in Hollywood? Which, like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
But you're watching and I'm like, well, that didn't happen, did it?
Yeah.
Like, it didn't happen, and it doesn't have the same weight because it almost, like, is colorblind about it.
Okay.
Like, it's just like, oh, everything was okay. There was no struggle. Because the struggle that's actually happening is nothing actually serious.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it says, you know?
Yeah. Like, what was the point, kind of?
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like Ryan Murphy knows how to operate in a post-racial society, because we'll never be post-racial.
Right.
You know? Mm-hmm. It just I didn't understand the point. It was just silly hot people doing silly hot things, you know?
Which, like, sometimes that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the only compelling character in it was Patti LuPone. Where she was, like, this wife who, like, her husband was cheating on her and neglecting her, and she, like, he's in a coma, and she finally gets to head the studio, and she's like, wait, I finally get to have power? Which I was like, that's sick, actually.
Yeah.
I would have taken a whole series about her.
Right.
Instead of everything else.
Yeah.
I don't even know what my point was. Oh, we've lost it. Jeez, it's because we talked about David Cornsweat.
I know, it really took us off.
Jesus. I can't think straight. I was talking about basically how sometimes he's so focused on it being edgy and stylistically excessive that he forgets that a plot needs to be there.
Yeah, and I think that's usually my problem with him. Like I said, there's so many Ryan Murphy series that I've never finished. And I mean, even seasons. Like, I've still never finished Glee. Even though I've watched, like, the first 3 or 4 seasons probably multiple times. It went on for too long.
Yeah, once they graduated college, that should have been the end of the show.
And, like, even with American Horror Story, I remember, like, watching... I've obviously seen, like, Murder House, Coven.
You know, I've never seen American Horror Story.
You should watch it. The first 3 seasons, I would say.
Couple seasons. Isn't Stevie Nicks in one of those seasons?
Coven? She's in Coven. It's for, like, 1 episode, I think. It's, like, just a little minor... surprise role.
I still love that.
But it's just like I've seen half of I know. I've seen half of Roanoke, and I think I forced myself to watch the one. I don't know, Apocalypse.
Okay.
Apocalypse, which is kind of like a commentary on like MAGA. And that's why I kind of forced myself to watch that one, even though it's not that good.
Okay.
Just because I feel like Ryan Murphy starts out strong because he introduces all these like really strange characters and like strange situations, but it gets towards like, I'm not kidding, like smack dab in the middle, he's introduced 15 different plot lines and there's just no way to bring them all back around. And so there's always, it feels like there's too much going on and nothing's ever like solved. So it's again kind of like, what's the point of all this? And I've lost my train of thought too. Why was I saying this? Oh, well, I know where this was going to take me later. Sorry guys, we are
space cadets today.
Space cadetsies. But I was thinking about like Ryan Murphy and how he's kind of made this progression from like FX, Fox to streaming where he has more like creative control and creative liberties to kind of do what he wants. And now he's pivoted back to broadcast and specifically lowbrow, because you know what?
He does 911, doesn't he?
He does the fucking 911 series.
Wasn't he also the executive producer on Space Odyssey, that show with Joshua Jackson?
Oh, trust I was about to bring that up.
Okay.
Dr. Odyssey. So Dr. Odyssey, I think it's already been canceled, unfortunately.
Yes.
I watched the first half of the season. Surprise. But it's Joshua Jackson, who is a doctor on this cruise ship.
Yeah.
So it's basically him and like 2 of the nurses, both hot. One's Philippa Sue.
Oof,
Queen.
Yeah.
And it was basically just silly. I really enjoyed it. It's literally every single week is a new cruise, and like there's some kind of like weird fucking illness that's going on. Crazy. Like, they do have a lot of guest stars because Ryan Murphy just genuinely knows so many people and can everyone. Get them.
Yeah.
The one I'm thinking of though is Court Overstreet is on there. Sam from Glee. And he's like this huge whore. Like gets has some kind of, I can't remember if it's an STD or some kind of like rash outbreak and basically infects a lot of the ship, if I'm remembering right.
That's so funny.
So it's so silly, but it also does kind of push the envelope. I need to keep watching because apparently there was a threesome between Philippa Sue, Joshua Jackson, and the other nurse. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Whoa. I've never seen that on broadcast TV. Yeah. So that made quite a stir, which I do need to go watch that for research purposes.
Yeah. And you come back to me about
as
your
an
notes.
Academic woman, I need to go watch that.
Yeah.
So, like, there's that, but then also, like, 911 is batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And I've never even seen it. I've just seen the trailers because there was the one going around for, like, 911 Los Angeles, and it's like, taking me out of the ordinary, that song. Ugh. And there's, like, fucking meteors coming down, and they're, like, apparently gonna save the day. And I'm like, guys, what is LAPD gonna do about that?
Yeah, you don't even have to go, why are meteors coming down? There are wildfires. You don't have to go that far out in
and
space.
So, like, it's just, like, these, like, it truly is excess to the highest degree in a totally different way.
Yeah.
And in a way, it feels like I think he hates the term, like, camp and how we throw it out, but, like...
He does. He, like, doesn't consider his work camp.
But, like, I'm sorry, that's camp.
Yeah.
You're telling me, like...
Yeah.
Asteroids are coming through the air, and we're gonna be like, LAPD, what are you gonna do to stop this?
Oh, God. Yeah. No, it's
so it's
really
just
funny.
Interesting, like, I think he does have an interesting pulse on the moment, though, because, like, that is the kind of silliness...
that people are gonna
watch. Because I was thinking about this, and I was like... Those feel like shows to me where I'm always just like, who the hell is watching this?
America.
And it's Middle America.
Yeah.
Middle America eats this shit up.
Because you couch it between, like, a reality show or a show that's going, like, that's probably couched between somewhere with Dancing with the Stars or something like that. Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, all these shows have high viewership. That's why they've been on for years.
Yeah.
So, honestly, that's smart of him to diversify his income. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is about Netflix is that we're now watching, since the return to, like, ad-based streaming, that there's a plateau. There was a level of subscribers that they reached, and they're like, oh, we can go higher than this. We have to figure out the revenue. Because they were just throwing green lights everywhere. Yeah. Like, gosh, if you were in the film industry at the height of Netflix, you could have gotten anything greenlit.
Yeah.
And the thing about ads is that they still bring in revenue. So honestly, that's a great moneymaker for him.
Yeah, for sure.
He can make silly shit. It can go on forever. He can just pop in and be like, what's going on, guys? And then leave.
Yeah.
And good for him.
No, it's very smart.
Yeah.
As, like, a business. That to say, maybe that doesn't reflect as, like, an auteur if he's going for that status. But I don't think he cares.
I don't think he cares. And also, like, he doesn't market those as Ryan Murphy series. Like, I would have never associated him with that.
Yeah.
Which is, like, it's telling of what he wants to put his name on and what he's just
yeah,
sure.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about this off mic before we started. About, like, the Monster series and, like, how Ryan Murphy's push towards the excess does come at, like, again, he just takes it too far sometimes.
Yeah.
Because especially when, like, the Dahmer show came out, which I've still never seen.
No.
But I do remember there was a lot of controversy about the victims of Jeffrey Dahmer because they're still alive. They're still here. And just talking about, like, how, like, disrespectful and stuff. And I think it was even, like, he didn't reach out to the families of, like, the people he's portraying and stuff. And so I know there was a lot of, like, controversy there. I'll link some articles when we're publishing this.
That gets into, like, the ethics of true crime.
Yes. And And it is interesting when it pivots to this, like, scripted format.
Where someone's making a buck off of
You're making a buck off this. You're making fiction out of real life tragedies that happened. So it does get a little icky. And then when I was just happened to be going on Netflix a few days ago, and I saw Monsters, Ed Gein, whatever. I'm going to call him Ed Gein.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm going to call him Ed Gein. That sounds better.
Sure.
So it's about him, and, like, he was apparently a serial killer. I'm not super into true crime, so I don't really know.
Yeah,
but it was, like, killed a lot of people, like, took their skin off.
Ugh.
dismember them and stuff like that. But anyways, the reason I'm talking about this is because it was the first trailer that popped up on the main screen. And I thought it was interesting because it's the main character and he's dressed as a woman and wearing a woman's face, like quite literally, like one that he's skinned off and is wearing as a mask. Okay. And is like dancing around. And I was like, I was like, I have heard of Ed Gein before, but I was like, I don't think he's like trans or like queer or anything. Mm-hmm. And so I was looking at an article, and I'll link it in the show notes, but it was basically talking about like how damaging it is, and especially with someone like Ryan, to keep reporting something like that when it's never been confirmed that he...
Especially right now?
Yeah.
When, like, the trans community is literally under attack?
Yeah, right. And it just feels odd. Like, it feels like an odd placement for someone who is queer and who has done so much work to, like...
properly represent communities and, like, really push that forward.
It feels very careless to me. Mm. And so, like, I'm not going to watch it, obviously, but I do want to do a little more digging. Mm-hmm. And I'll put some, like, resources in the show notes.
Yeah.
But it just feels very strange and off-putting.
I don't like that. And I wonder if, like, again, we go back to the beginning of this conversation about quality. Because when you told me that, I immediately thought of Silence of the Lambs.
And that's who it's based off of. The same serial killer.
Okay.
Because I read that, it's Silence... Maybe I'm lying. I think I'm lying with that. Take that back.
Okay.
I remember reading something about Silence of the Lambs and Psycho in that article. That's why I'm saying that.
Okay, because if that's inspired by by the Ed killer, then okay, but that's still like that's a new fictional character. It's different.
Yeah.
And that feels like this character, this like Ed Gein guy for the series, is now based on a fictional character.
Yeah. Which
again, you can't distort facts when people have actively been affected by it.
Yeah. So it's just very odd. And so I think his career is so interesting.
It's so odd.
It's so very odd. Because he does blend this like prestige and like...
prestige, but also like pulp.
Yeah.
You know? Like it's not always good.
No, it's not always good. And I wonder if we've kind of... I don't want to say aged out, but like...
No.
I think the time has passed.
For us to like Ryan Murphy?
No, but I think for his more original, like, campy stuff in the vein of, like, Glee, American Horror Story, I think we're just kind of past that as a culture.
I don't know, because we rewatched Glee and we're like, wow, this is so good. But again, it could have only been made at the time. Yeah. You're right.
It just, like, I don't think it works in the contemporary.
Yeah.
As a new...
I don't think it's campy stuff that doesn't work, because remember when we saw Bottoms?
Yeah.
And we loved it?
Yeah.
Because it was fun and campy?
Yeah.
It just depends on who's doing it.
I think so.
Yeah. I think, like, Rachel Sennett and Emma Seligman just speak to a different generation.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
I think that's true. And I mean, we also have to just keep in mind that Ryan Murphy is an older, white, queer man.
That's true.
And so...
the perspective is different.
The perspective is very different.
Yeah. But... yeah. I mean, like, on one hand, I'm like, I think he's done so much good, but on the other hand, I think he just has, like, I don't know, gone too far a lot of the time. Yeah. Yeah. That's really all I have to say about him.
Yeah, me too, actually.
We really just, like, it feels like we had to do that.
That felt like a catharsis.
Yeah,
like, I just had to get it all out.
Free now?
Yeah, but actually talking about this, I do want to do more research into, like...
Ed Gein?
No.
The ethics of true crime?
No. I don't even know what... girl...
Just more research, period?
Just more research, period.
Okay, yeah.
My brain really shut off after that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to re-listen to this because I know I just said I was going to do an essay on something.
Yeah, you were going to do an essay on grotesquerie.
Yeah.
Don't remember what.
Oh, I think I was talking about like Obama politics.
Yes.
And like the culture shift.
Horror during different political periods.
Okay, we're back.
Because here's my thing: is like I could do a whole one on rom-coms during different political periods. Yeah. Because they really thrive under one sort of regime and not the other.
Yeah.
And you can guess which one.
Ooh.
It's conservative. Anyways. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Ryan Murphy.
Yeah, I think that's all I have to say too. I am curious to see kind of what he does.
Yeah.
Next, you know what? I kind of want to watch the 911 series.
Here's my thing.
I'm sure it's fun. I know it's a blast.
Yeah, we'll have fun.
I know it's a blast.
Every time I sit down, I'm at my grandma's because like she still has cable.
Yeah.
For the cooking channel. I'll sit down and watch those shows after I watch David Moore on ABC News, and I'm like, I get sucked in.
They're very fun.
I'm like, wait, this is a narrative.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy because sometimes those shows, I'm like, that's pure television.
Right?
That is pure television.
I know for sure if I was a housewife, I would have gotten sucked into a soap opera. Oh my god. As the world turns, every night would have been me.
Would have been in there.
Crazy. Anyways.
All right, guys. I think that's all we got to say.
Yeah, we should shut up.
We said a lot. We're gonna shut up now.
Yeah, it's getting long.
But yeah, thanks for listening. Be on the lookout in our Substack. Our Substack is We've Heard It All.
Yeah.
Probably should plug exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to encourage us to write essays, bully us, please. If you know us in real life, tell us to get our ass at home and on the computer.
Yeah, you can pester me, badger me, whatever.
We live to serve.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, we do.
We do live to serve.
Well, we will talk to you guys next time.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.